All right, we are, or should be, live on Twitch. Hello, world. Welcome to Call of Cthulhu. We're playing Reign of Terror, and this is our final episode of Reign of Terror. Our investigators have traveled long and far, and they've made many plans, and we're about to see what happens. So, we have dealt with much in the French Revolution. Our investigators dealt with a count who turned out to be an ancient vampire who they defeated and was locked up in a sanitarium somewhere. But years later, they found out that they inadvertently helped to create a new monster, the citizen Regault, who had led them to stop the vampire, has now risen to power himself. And now the world is about to end. It's only days away, unless they can stop it. So we're going to say hi to our investigators, and then we're going to jump right into this and see if they can save the world. And themselves. All right, so Dylan, why don't you start?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Dylan, and I'm going to be playing Jean Dupois, who's a 50-year-old, well, he's like 54, year-old grumpy peasant. He recently gave up being an alcoholic. His pretty much has nothing in the world to live for, which is good because he just volunteered to, get executed. So we'll see how that goes.
And Jamey, how about you?
I'm Jamey. I'll be playing Etienne Babin, the one-handed, half-deaf ex-soldier who turned in Dupois in the plan to try to get close enough to Regault so that when Dupois dies, I could just kind of axe him.
Nice. And Scott?
I am the romantic Christophe Pressi, who's the only one that apparently has anything to live for.
Apparently. So, when last we saw you all, hi Katie, welcome. You had set in motion your plan. Dupois was led off to be turned in by Babin and sent to the guillotine in the hopes of stopping Citizen Regault's seemingly endless power that he's come into. Dupois ended up in a prison cell. Babin, you were escorted home and left under protective guard as you have to go and turn evidence against your friend tomorrow in the court. And Pressi, Melody, and young Euronymous, along with Bonaparte, you have disappeared somewhere into the streets of Paris, waiting for your plan to kick off into motion. So, let's start with Pressi. Pressi, when you part ways with your friends, you, Melody, little 2-year-old Euronymous, and Bonaparte, where are you off to? What are you doing to get ready for this plan that you've set in motion?
He's going to give literally all of his money and tell her to find somewhere to stay.
She will take your funds and she says, I will do my best, Pressi, but we'll see each other again. We have promised each other. We have promised each other that we will come through this together. And thank you, Katie, for the bits.
Yes, we will. As he does the you got like the romantic couple goodbye where like the guy goes to hug, but he puts his hand on the back of her head, and then kisses her forehead, like those like super dramatic moment. Mm-hmm. Probably like just like foreheads touching, maybe a tear or two.
You see tears running down her cheeks as she does not seem to want to leave you behind. And she is frightened that this may be the last time she sees you alive.
I give her 2 of my 6 pistols as well.
Okay, so she will take them. She also has Babin's axe, I believe, or axes, in her possession.
She has my axe and my flintlock.
Yes. So she,
God.
but she does not say that to you. She actually keeps them. She puts it in the bag with everything together, and she takes little Euronymous, and she takes Bonaparte. She's like, "Come on, Bonaparte. Come on, Bonaparte," and she gives you a final kiss. She's crying. Little Euronymous. He touches your cheek, and he says, "Bye bye, bye bye." And even Bonaparte will. He looks around. He's looking for Dupois, who is nowhere to be found, and so he whines as he leaves with Melody and the little boy.
If I can, before I give all my money to her, you'd probably get the biggest possible leg bone he could get from like a cow or something from a slaughterhouse, and have it for Bonaparte, maybe to distract him a little bit.
So yes, and when you do, he licks you and then grabs the bone and runs off with it.
It's like probably 4 times his size, so I don't know.
He drags it out of the house with him. And where do you go after this as they leave to go find safety?
Well, it's in the town square where it happens.
Yes, you know that it's going to take place. It's near the Palais Royal, and you know that they have the guillotine set up in the center of the courtyard there.
How long do we got? What's the timer say?
So you know that Dupois was turned in tonight. From everything you've experienced since the guillotine began taking people's heads, you figure that he'll be on the chopping block within the next 24 to 48 hours. And today is the 6th, and the 8th is the day of the festival.
Are there any houses or whatever for rent around here? Like apartments or whatever you want to call it? Flat?
There are not any that are inexpensive near the actual palace, but there are many abandoned aristocratic homes and things like that, because a lot of aristos have either been beheaded or have made a run for it.
Okay, I'll check those out and see which ones would probably be the best vantage point.
Okay, why don't you just give me like a spot check to sort of go around and eyeball the neighborhood and see what you can find. All right, so you make your way carefully going through this area, investigating, looking for a good vantage point. Your training helps you to locate a couple of places where you think you could set yourself up with a full view of the platform where the guillotine is and the crowd itself. Like you could either do it from a window, or you even have a couple of choices of rooftops that have decorative structures and things that you could use for cover to hide behind.
I was actually about to ask about rooftops, so he'd probably prefer one of the rooftop ones instead of a window.
Okay.
So yeah, he does like the modern sniper thing where he's just got like a few jars and he just camps out there for 48 hours or whatever.
All right, so you set yourself up. So the next morning, after Pressi has sent Melody off to safety, Babin, you waken, and you are met outside your door by your escort. He has another police officer has shown up to help escort you back to the court.
Okay. Babon just kind of goes with them because he knows he has to keep up this whole act of he's turning in his friend, so he's not going to try and resist it.
Okay.
Just kind of walk with them.
So you are led back through the streets. You get back to the courthouse, and they take you inside and bring you into the meeting room where you were the day before when you turned in Dupois.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, you wait here, and we will come and get you when we need to talk to you.
I'll just kind of nod and just sit down in the chair and just wait.
So, you sit. The guard, the officer that brought you, he goes outside the door. You're left to your own devices. You kind of sit in this room, and there's just the one door in or out. And about 20 minutes go by, and then you hear footsteps up the hall. And then the doorknob turns and opens, and a figure steps in, quickly closing the door behind him. And you see Citizen Regault, a grin on his face. Bonjour, mon ami.
Bonjour.
How are you today, monsieur?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am well. I did not think I would see you again.
And I will just kind of give him a look and go, well, I'm a little hard to get rid of.
I see. I was surprised to find your hefty friend has been jailed. I thought I finished him off in the catacombs days ago.
He lived?
He did. But not for long.
No, he won't.
Is it true you're turning evidence against your friend?
I am.
That is, or would be honorable, except I know that you are not entirely innocent.
Innocent of what? I don't think anybody here is truly innocent.
No, but you know, there are eyes everywhere. And for a little coin, people will say things.
So you bribe people?
Oh no, I just pay them for their good service to France.
Mm-hmm. And what did these alleged people say?
I heard an interesting story about a trip to a market and then a bit of a slaughter.
Well, I mean, animals get slaughtered in the market all the time. I can't really control that.
No, but it's different when, and he leans in and smiles, you're the butcher.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Dupois killed them.
Yes, that is what you say. But we will let the court be the judge of that. I just wanted to say hello to you. We may not have another chance.
I kind of just tip my cane at him.
He just smiles and turns and walks out the door and shuts it behind him.
As he's walking away and his back is turned, I give him a goodbye wave.
So, after a little while, there's some more officers that come in, about 4 of them, and they ask you to follow them to the courtroom.
I follow them.
All right.
Doing like the proper person walking with a cane, not like the pimp walk, the like sophisticated person.
So, meanwhile, in the cells, Dupois, you were put into a cell, only to find that you had some familiar company in the cells adjoining yours. Your sergeant, your comrade Beaumains, and your friend Hugel all seem to have been picked up at some point in the last 48 hours on the orders of one Citizen Regault. They tell you that Beaumains and Hugel tell you that they tried to get the sergeant out when they found out he was captured, but their plan did not go as they hoped, and they were also arrested. So, meanwhile, while you sit there and you sort of reminisce with your friends, you're waiting. You're supposed to be escorted up to the court any time now, and you hear footsteps coming up the hallway. And you all see this familiar face as well, as Regault walks into view for you as well. He stops and looks from left to right, the cells. Almost a full set. I'm just missing a few. Good morning.
Hi.
You look well for a dead man, Dupois.
I've looked well for a dead man for the past 5 years.
Ah, yes. You have seen better days. Maybe long before I met you. But to turn yourself in, that's impressive.
I didn't turn myself in.
No? Oh, I'm sorry. I must have gotten mixed up. He walks up to the bars of your cell and leans against them. He smiles at you. He takes out a flintlock from his pocket.
Jesus.
And he's pointing at you. Ah, this feels familiar, doesn't it, Dupois?
A little bit.
Yeah.
You look just as bad in this light as you did down in the catacomb.
And Beaumains, Hugel, and the sergeant are standing up now. They're looking at him with the gun, and they look at you from behind him.
Dupois still just sitting wherever he was in his cell, just sort of looking at him with like the grumpiest face ever, just sort of like...
You know, you served France so well at one time. You served your king. I'd hate to see a man like you sacrificed in this way after such an honorable career. And he tosses the flintlock on the ground in front of you. There's a bullet in it.
Oh,
You could end your suffering. All it would take is one shot, Dupois.
if I wanted to do that, I could have done it a long time ago.
The sergeant's like, shoot him! Dupois!
I just sort of let the gun lie there. I'm not going to touch it.
Ah, a man of conviction after all, then, are you? It's all right. Don't worry. I'll be in the front row to watch. You won't go alone. None of you will. And he looks back at the others. You'll all go together. I just have one more to find. Let me ask you a question. Where is your handsome friend, the romantic one? Where did he go?
Probably left the city like the coward he always has been.
I don't
Run
know.
off that girlfriend of his.
Oh, the girlfriend, eh?
Mm.
Girlfriend. He did like many of the ladies back at Versailles, didn't he?
Ugh.
Which one do you speak of in particular?
Who knows? He chased after so many skirts, I lost track of them. It's disgusting.
I see. Well, I don't want to keep you. I hear, the footsteps of your escort are coming. He draws out his saber and sticks it in to where the pistol is, and he just slides it back into his reach.
Mm.
And then picks it up and puts it back in his belt.
Okay.
He smiles. You had your chance, my friend. But don't worry. It'll all be over soon. Au revoir.
Yes, it will.
He turns and strolls back up the hallway. And then 6 guards come down and they unlock your cell. And they motion for you to step out.
I don't.
Oh, they're going to come in and get you then.
Oh, good.
Yep.
I want them to.
Yep, so 3 of them come in the cell to get you. What are you doing?
I'm gonna do what I did when Babin came and turned me in, basically, and just be like the most, like resisting all the way, just like my dead body weight and like, try and like throw punches at them and stuff.
Okay. Or do you
Just
actually
being
want to try to
resistant.
physically harm them or just make a big show of it?
I just want to make a big show of it,
Okay.
honestly.
So
If that ends up with me physically harming someone, so be it. But
yeah, so you punch, kick, like try to let them drag you, and there are a number of bruised and beaten up guards once they get you upstairs. In fact, everyone in the courthouse and in the audience area where Babon is waiting, Babon, you hear this just ruckus coming from the door off to the side before the door is like burst open, and you see a kicking and fighting Dupois being dragged into the courtroom.
As soon as I see his face, I spit.
Jeez.
So he is dragged over, and his arms are like in manacles, and they manacle him to the table. And then you see coming from the other side, like these dignitaries. You see Robosphere, you see the other court members, you see the members of the committee, and you see Regault come in and take a seat off to one side, and he's just watching. And they begin, and they say, "This ex-soldier of France has been turned in. He murdered police in the streets. He has been trying to destroy what we have built. He is loyal to the king and has been heard over and over again declaring his loyalty whenever he can. He is guilty of transgressions against France, and he must be put to death." And the committee goes through and they call for witnesses, and they call Babon.
Mm-hmm.
And Babon, you're brought forward, and they question you.
Okay.
What is your evidence against this man? You served in his company 5 years ago, according to our records.
Even 5 years ago, I knew him as a devout monarchist and do anything for the king, even though he was ruining France to the ground. And my evidence is what I saw myself. I rounded the corner and saw him butchering those two policemen in broad daylight in the streets, like an animal.
Did you try to stop him?
I did. I tried to pull him off, and he fought me back, and I kind of gestured towards... I was still probably beat up a bit from the fight. So I kind of gestured towards everything. This is his handiwork here.
I see. He's kind of looking at you.
Handiwork.
Wow.
Can't help it.
He says, "Do you know why he would kill those men? What did he say anything when he was murdering them in the street?"
He just called them some dirty bastards, and it's all I heard. I don't know why. You can ask him why he killed them.
All right. So I want you to roll me a fast talk, because you are telling them a story.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay. Before we get a roll, I see up here on the HUD, do we have 2 nat 20s each?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks to Miss Katie, your darling Miss Katie, who wants to make sure you all come out of this sane and happy and healthy and whole.
I mean, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely use one of those for this.
Okay.
That's fair.
Like, I'm gonna save the other one, but this I need to attempt. So
All
yeah.
right. So you will use a nat 20. So, they sort of look at you kind of questioningly, and you see Regault, like, he's waiting. Seems like he's waiting for something. But then the committee says, "We must adjourn to have a conversation."
Oh, great.
And they step away for a short time. You're escorted back to your seat. And they come back shortly after, and they say, "We thank you for your service, soldier." And they nod to where Babon sits. And then they look at Dupois and they say, "You, on the other hand, are a traitor, and you are sentenced to death by guillotine. Your death will come tomorrow morning, before noon, with the other criminals that are in jail currently. Take him away." And they come in and they drag Dupois out once again.
When they are, Probably the moment that they say that Dupois is a traitor, he probably starts going off on a rant about how, they're the traitors and they're the criminals because they overthrew the rightful ruler of France and stuff like that,
Take
and
him
just
away!
all the way out of the courtroom. Just
Take him! Yep, the committee is yelling for you to be taken out. And Babin, as you stand up and this is going on, a tall figure in a long trench coat comes over and puts a hand out to you. And he says, "Your service to your country is appreciated." And you see it's the chief of the secret police.
The one that we beat up the other day and stole all his stuff?
Well, one of you did.
We got one of them.
Good thing he has another coat, yeah. He had a backup.
I kind of just hold out the wooden hand, even though it's my left hand to shake. I'm just gonna hold out the wooden hand.
He looks at it kind of with a questioning look and doesn't shake it.
Okay.
He says,
All right.
"Good luck to you then. Hope you don't end up on my radar again." The back then it's radar.
I will keep myself out of trouble.
All right.
Alleged trouble.
He turns and walks away and leaves you standing there as the door closes on Dupois' ranting and ravings.
Am I the only one who's in there now?
The courtroom is emptying. There's other people and things like that, but the last thing you see of Rigault, he looks back over his shoulder at you and he just sort of gives you this grin, but his eyes are just cold. Like it does not go up to his eyes.
I give him another wave.
And then he disappears through another door and he's gone as it shuts.
And nobody's come to get me or escort me anywhere. I'm kind of just...
Your escort is nowhere to be seen. You seem to have left to your own devices.
I am going to leave the courthouse and then just go to where I know the guillotine is, because that's where it's going to be tomorrow. So I kind of just want to get there to wait.
Okay. When you leave, are you just going straight there without trying to be careful, or do you try to take a circuitous route to your destination?
I feel like I would just walk, because I'm trying to play it off as I'm not trying to be suspicious or sneaky or anything. I'm living my life now, so I'm just going to kind of just walk normally.
Okay. So you make your way, and it's actually not far at all. When you leave the court, you go up and around a couple of blocks, and it's on the other side of the palace. The courts are toward one end. So you just walk up the main street along the river, and you come around the side, and you can see where it opens into the courtyard. And the guillotine's sort of set to the back against a wall on a raised platform. As you get there, you can smell the old blood. It's just this, there's been so many people killed here that the stench just doesn't go away. And you stroll into the courtyard of the guillotine, and it's quiet right now. There's no activity this morning.
Is there any sort of, I think we got to this already, is there any place where I could stay that's close to the courtyard, like a tavern or an inn or something? I'm not going back to my house, just kind of I just want to stay in the area.
There are some inns and things like that, but I will say, Pressi, up on the roof, you have spent the night, and it's June, so the weather was actually pretty nice. It wasn't a bad night to stay out under the stars. But as you're sort of camped out up there, you see a lone figure kind of enter the courtyard, and you recognize Babin down below, sort of standing just inside the entrance opposite where the guillotine stands.
Okay. I keep an eye on him. What is he doing? What is he doing here?
I'm just trying to find a place where I can at least just get the room now. I'm probably not going to stay in there, but just
Is he the only one out here?
There's traffic in the street out past the courtyard, but there's not people in the courtyard right now. The courtyard is empty.
So he's the only one in the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it would be dangerous to try to signal him? AKA, like, I was going to have a mirror and, like, reflect light. But I don't want, like, someone else to be like, what the heck is that shining coming from?
You can make a spot check to see if you see anybody that looks like they're paying attention to him.
Okay. Over there. Shabadoo. Nope, no one. Not at all.
Yeah, looks like he's all by himself and nobody's paying any attention to this guy standing off by himself.
Okay, well, since he seems like he's by himself, I will pull out like a little mirror lens or something and try to get his attention.
So, Babon, as you are turning to look for this inn, a light reflects off your eyes from somewhere up above.
Can I see where it's coming from?
Yeah, because he's signaling you, you can see this person up on the rooftop, and once the light's out of your eyes, you can see that, oh, that's Pressi.
The second Pressi knows that you know that it's him, he disappears from view, but he stays up on the roof.
Okay. So, question. The guillotine, is it, like, back against the wall? Is that where it always is, or do they, like, pull it out towards the center for the actual execution, or...
It's set back. There's, like, a platform raised around it, but it's the platform butts up against the back of the wall so that the crowd can kind of come in and be all around it, but they have access on the back and at the front with stairs.
Okay, so it's not like they pull it out to the middle of the courtyard. It stays in the back the whole time.
Yeah,
okay.
That way the crowd can... You've seen these executions. The crowd kind of follows those that are going to be executed, and then they throng into the courtyard and sort of make their way forward and sort of fill the whole space. And people kind of go up into windows and on... oops, that's mine. And on ledges and stuff.
Okay. Babon's going to take a couple minutes to, like, see where would be the best position to place himself for tomorrow so that he can, like, get to Regault as quickly as possible, assuming Regault's going to be there, which it seems like he will be. It's like trying to see, like, where would be a good place to stand, probably near the stairs, so he can rush up there.
All right, so you can just you can make me like a spot check just as you kind of walk around the floor plan of this and take a look. Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
So, having been to a few of these before, you know that the officials, they have seating off and around to the sides. Usually up front, there's usually like this specific group of like ladies who sit and knit during the executions. And the officials kind of ring the sides of it. So you think that if you moved in with the crowd, you could find a spot along the buildings behind that section where the officials sit to be closer.
Okay.
When they come in.
And then after I figure that out, I'm going to just go towards the inn.
Okay. So you leave.
And just get a room to stay in.
All right. So Pressi, you wait for a little bit, and when you peek again, Babon is gone and has gone off somewhere else.
Okay, that's good. I was hoping he wouldn't try to come up to me. I just wanted him to know where I was at.
All right, so Babon, you do easily find accommodations. You have plenty of money, so you can afford to get a room in this part of town. You rent yourself a room.
That's extra funny because one of your hands is wooden.
Yeah.
Oh,
chink, 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 chink.
Do you do anything else special tonight, Babon, or do you lie low at the inn?
I probably just lay low.
Okay.
Also, I didn't say this, the night before when I was at my own house, Babon wrote a letter for Cesar and left it in Cesar's room.
Okay.
So that, like, if we succeed and he ends up dying, it's kind of just like a, I love you, I hope you're proud of me, I love you again type of deal.
Okay. So you leave behind a note just in case.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Pressi, are you doing anything else special, or are you just maintaining your perch this evening?
Does that cloak have a hood?
It does.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep my perch.
Okay. And Dupois, you were led back down into the cells. On your way back, they did make one stop. They stopped, and while they held you down, they shaved the back of your head enough to reveal your neck to give them a clear line for tomorrow at the guillotine, so that they can, in fact, give a nice clean cut on the blade.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get back to your cell and they throw you in, kicking and biting and yelling your loyalty to the king, you find that they've done the same to the other three who are waiting. And there's a few other people who have been put into cells who are also... So there's approximately 9 of you that it looks like are set up to go to the guillotine in the morning.
Fun.
So
What
do you do?
Probably find somewhere to sit and just kind of like laments not having alcohol. Like it was a conscious choice of his to give up his alcohol, but he really wants some right now.
Once you're all back and the guards sort of leave you and go back to their post further up at the doors, the sergeant leans forward in his cell and says, Dupois, is there a plan? What's going on? The last I saw of all of you, you told me a great many things. Have you just given up?
No. You know me, I'm a stubborn old man.
The most stubborn.
I don't just give up. No.
What can we do? Tomorrow they'll have us manacled, and what can we do? We can't go quietly to death. We must fight.
I won't go quietly, but I have to die.
No one has to die. We can make this. We can.
No, I do. To stop this all from happening.
The sergeant kind of gives you a look, and you've told him more.
Yeah.
Hugel and Beaumains are like, no, you don't have to die. No, we can. And Beaumains especially is like, we will fight. We remember when we bound that man to the tree and we questioned him, and then we left. Did we ever? we may never have untied him though, Dupois. I think we may have left him there for the animals.
He wasn't the only one that night that might have. We just sort of laughed. But yeah, I'll keep like the specifics between the sergeant and I.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not gonna talk about that stuff in a prison. But like I'll tell them that about like Regault being dangerous and that we have a plan to like get rid of him,
Mm-hmm.
Like when the time is right, you'll know what's up.
So the others look at you and nod and say, then, or we will wait for your signal then tomorrow, and we'll make our move.
Oui.
Excellent. Do you do anything?
People of France will see one last time what we can do.
We are soldiers of France, and we will do our best to stop this madness that has embraced our nation. No more people should die on this evil blade.
Agreed.
Well, the sergeant says, then we should get some rest, because tomorrow may be the most important day of all of our lives.
Dupois doesn't say it, but he definitely thinks to himself. Probably, yeah.
So, you all find yourselves going to sleep for the night in your various arrangements. Babon, you take your rest in this very nice inn in this section of town. The bed is very comfortable. You have a little writing desk near a window. It's a quiet street. You can hear the sound of the river as you doze off to sleep.
Before I go to sleep, I take a little knife and sharpen the point on my middle finger.
Nice. Pressi, you are sitting atop this perch on the building. You actually see toward the later part of the day, before the sun sets, some of the guards come in and they sort of go through and kind of test and prepare for tomorrow. They check the guillotine, they check all the arrangements and things like that before they leave for the evening and go back. And you sit once again, another very beautiful night. The stars are out, the sky is clear, there's a light breeze as you settle into your perch.
Before he falls asleep, probably facing up towards the stars, he probably says to himself, Melody would like this view, as he goes to sleep.
And Dupois, you have no line of sight to the stars. You are in a cell. Your bed is a bed of straw. It's a bit itchy and cold in here as there's no sunlight.
I think it reminds Dupois a lot of like the conditions growing up as like a peasant boy, a really poor peasant child. So I almost think he's like all right with it. Like it kind of reminds him of home in this weird, morbid sort of way, you know?
Mm-hmm. So...
He definitely misses Bonaparte, though. I will say that. Having been his companion for the last 5 years, it's weird not getting woken up in the middle of the night by this dog, like crawling up into bed with you or something, you know?
Mm-hmm. Somewhere a little 2-year-old says, Bubba Pop, and is snuggled up with the puppy for the night. So, in the morning, Dupois, you are awakened, along with your fellow prisoners. The guards come in, and they throw white shirts and trousers into your cell. And they tell you, change your clothes. We want you to look pristine for today.
Would I know what would happen if I didn't? Like,
you think that they would probably forcefully dress you.
Well, okay. I think Dupois would probably at least keep his dignity in that regard and probably just dress himself, you know.
The others all do as well, and you are all dressed in similar slacks and white shirts as a bunch of guards come down, and they have you put out your hands to get on manacles and line you up to lead you out of the prison. They take you up, and these guards look kind of bored and just tired, like they've just seen this over and over and over and over, and it's become so commonplace they're almost unaffected by it at this point. And they line up as each of you is escorted up and out, and you come up into the sunlight as they lead you outside, and there is a tumbrel, an open-topped cart waiting there, drawn by this tired-looking old horse. And they have you all climb into the cart, one after the other. You're all sort of kind of standing. It's like standing room only in the back of this, with your hands...
Oh, God, okay.
Yep, your hands all manacled together. And you can see outside the gates of the prison, like, the crowd's already kind of lined up. And there's some people, like, you see people with wine bottles. You see some, like, passing bread around. And they're already yelling back into the yard as this is happening. And then the driver climbs into the cart. The guards sort of move around it, and they flick the horse, and the horse starts plodding forward toward the gate and toward the crowd and into the street. Meanwhile, Babin, you have woken up early. What are you doing? As you can hear from your vantage point in the inn, early morning, the crowd gathering, starting to make noise.
First, I'm going to look around the room to see if I can find anything I could use as like a weapon of any sort, since I don't have my axe or my flintlock, just something I could stab with?
So looking around the room,
Besides my finger.
You can make me a spot check for looking for something.
Nope.
So you don't find anything sharp or anything like that. The only thing that you notice is the legs on the desk are fairly solid if you broke one off and took it with you, but you don't see anything that you could use as like a blade.
Would there be a way I could, like, if I break a desk leg, is there a way I could, like, somehow make it conspicuous that I'm carrying a desk leg, so it's not like what's this guy up to?
Well, you do wear you have that cloak that you've been wearing.
Yeah.
So you could put it underneath
the
cloak.
Yeah, I'll break off a leg and stick it into my coat.
Okay.
And then probably just walk out into the street and mingle with the crowd and try to, like, early position myself to get close, but try to not make it too obvious.
Okay, so you move out into the street and kind of get ready to sort of follow. And your inn is on, like, the main road that the cart is going to have to pass.
Yeah, so, like, I probably get close enough so that as the cart comes, I'm kind of like the first one behind it so that I could be as close as I can.
Okay. So you can hear, and you see people in the streets kind of waiting here too, starting to sort of, the crowd is starting to swell even here. And you can hear the others down at the far end of the road where the prison is. So you know that they're starting to move. They're starting to get them. You think that the prisoners must be on the move at this point as you wait in the crowd. And Pressi, up on your vantage point, you see a handful of people who have come in and are sort of getting ready for this cart to arrive. You can hear the crowd in the distance, and you see some of the secret police sort of setting up in positions around the area. You see some of the guards kind of setting up. You see the executioner sort of checking the rope, checking this guillotine one more time.
For the secret police, where are they setting up? Just around the perimeter of the crowd, like keeping them in control?
So the crowd's not here yet, so you see them setting up. There's a couple up by the front where the guillotine is, like one on either side at the back near the wall. And then you see like one or two more that set up toward the front entryway leading into where the guillotine is.
His coat that he has is the same as theirs, isn't it?
Your coat is a little more impressive than theirs. It is that heavy kind of like padded armored coat that the captain wore.
Okay. I'll have that up with the hood up.
Okay. So, Dupois, you're in this cart. This two-wheeled cart, the high wooden sides, and it rumbles up the street of Paris. It's drawn by this tired horse, the head of it down, the blinders on so that the crowd doesn't startle it. You and the others all stand in the back of the cart. Some of them have cast their heads down. Some of them have started weeping. Do you hold your head up? Are you proud of yourself in this moment?
I think he is. Yeah. I don't think he'd give these people the satisfaction of seeing him like worn down. I think he's been worn down his whole life, really, especially the past couple years. And like this whole thing has sort of given him a purpose that he hasn't had before, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like he feels like more than just the son of a peasant who turned into an alcoholic and lost his wife to cholera and all that, you know? Mm-hmm. More than just a soldier, a cog in the wheel.
All right, so your head is held high. The others, your friends, Hugel, Beaumains, and the sergeant, they stand around you. They also keep their composure about them as they don't like make eye contact with the crowd, but they look out, kind of mirroring your, like, Dupois is brave, we're all going to stand united against this. So as the cart continues on, some of the people in the street jeer at you. Some people throw things, others are laughing and making gestures, rude finger gestures, fingers across their neck, and they laugh at you as they do it. But you notice as the cart travels onward and the crowd is swelling that it's not everyone. You see off to one side, kind of standing in the eave of a building, a middle-aged woman. She's familiar, and she has her arms wrapped around two younger girls. One of them is about 8, the other 7. And you hear the sergeant's kind of breath catch.
Oh.
And you look, just a flick of the eyes back at him as he makes eye contact with the woman. And you realize that you have not seen her in a very long time, but it's his wife and his 2 daughters as they watch him wheel past. He says nothing. He sort of like holds his breath for a moment and then composes himself as the cart continues on. And you lose sight of them. They don't follow toward the courtyard. And the cart continues on. And up ahead, an old man. He looks like he can barely hold himself up. He's shaking his head as the cart is rolling past. And you hear Beaumain's whisper, "Oh, Papa, Papa, who will take care of him if this goes poorly? We must survive." And he just raises his chin as he gets near where his father is. And you see the old man, tears are streaking down his cheeks. And as you see this, you see out of the crowd rushes a white dog with a black ear. Bonaparte comes running into view, barking, running at the cart. But one of the guards takes a kick at him, and he yelps, and he runs back into the crowd, disappearing. The guard says, "Stupid mutt."
But why though?
So we know who we're going to kill first.
Yeah.
Screw our god, we're going to kill this guy.
Why are you tempting me to compromise the mission?
As the cart continues on, you notice making her way toward the edge of the crowd, her cloak kind of pulled tightly, carrying a small boy in her arms, short cropped blonde hair. You catch just under the hood the face of Melody. She's sort of shadowing the cart, following along. She has a bag slung over her shoulder. She's crying a little bit, but she's comforting the little boy. And you do catch sight of the dog kind of run up and lick at her hands and follow her. The cart comes around the corner and is heading into the square now, into the courtyard. As it does, you see a young man, his face older than his years. He's staring at the cart, and he looks somewhat surprised, as if he's looking for someone who's not there. And you realize it's Cesar.
Oh.
No, my boy!
He's standing sort of just outside the entrance of the courtyard, and he sees you, and his face is like crestfallen to see you, and he's like looking for, but he doesn't see who he's looking for. And then he diverts his eyes and sort of turns away from the cart. The cart makes its way across the courtyard. The crowd is thronging in, kind of taking their positions. From out of one of the buildings on the side, the dignitaries kind of start to come out. And you see Regault in all his pomp and circumstance. He's dressed handsomely. His hair is combed. He has his chin up. He has this air of exaltedness. This air of completion, accomplishment. All of his dreams seem to have come true in this moment. This is his arena. And he struts his way over and finds a seat off to one side. The cart continues across the way. The soldiers clear the crowd, keeping them at bay as it's rolling through the square. An old man with no right leg, standing on a crutch, starts yelling, "Martine! Martine! No, Martine!" And you see Huguel sort of look around at him, and their eyes meet, and he just starts crying as you realize that this is her husband, Joseph. He goes to sort of move toward the cart, but somebody next to him sort of pulls him back and holds him back. And then the cart rolls to a stop where the guillotine stands. It stops, Katie's gonna kill me. And the guards on the platform move over toward the open wagon, and they reach forward. And Dupois, you are the closest to the platform, and they reach to sort of grab you and pull you onto the platform to guide you to the...
Is the guard who kicked Bonaparte nearby?
He is one of the guards surrounding the cart. Like, he's sort of standing off to one side, like, waiting for you to get pulled out and put onto the platform.
Okay. As soon as I get in reach of him, can I punch him?
Sure, you can roll me a brawl.
Don't hit the puppy.
Actually, can I use a nat 20 for that?
Oh, sure.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you want to roll me some damage for your brawl check?
Sure. It would just be unarmed, right?
Yeah. It's fighting
Okay.
brawl, straight up.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you haul off as they're starting to guide you out. You sort of just haul off and punch this one guard, and he kind of spins in place and slams onto the stones and cracks his head. And the other guards sort of grab for you and are pulling at you and dragging you now toward the platform.
Pressi's like watching all this through his iron sights, and he's trying his hardest not to give away his position from laughing so hard.
You actually look over and Regault actually chuckles. Like, this is fine entertainment.
Oh, the second I see that, it's just immediate mood shift.
So, they drag you out and they move you toward the guillotine, Dupois. Are you doing anything in this moment?
I think he's just sort of smiling, having just punched that dude. I think he feels pretty good right now. He's always been kind of brutish, I imagine. You know, not really a sophisticated person. So just being able to punch this son of a bitch who just kicked your dog feels pretty nice.
All right, so they're pulling you toward the guillotine. They're taking you over behind it. Pressi, you are set up on the roof. You're looking down over the crowd. What are you doing in these moments as you watch Dupois get dragged toward the guillotine at the center of the platform?
I'm laying prone and trying to stay hidden as much as possible while having the gun just following Regault the whole time.
All right.
He's waiting for that thud. The second that thud happens, he's pulling the trigger.
Babin, you waited in the street. The crowd came through. The cart came through. What did you do when they moved toward this courtyard?
I would position myself like kind of at an angle to where Regault is, and maybe have like one or two people in front of me, so I'm not just like standing right behind him looking all menacing, because that's gonna be so like I'm close so that if as soon as the thud happens I can run up to hit him, but I'm like staying enough back that it's not too overtly suspicious, since he probably knows I'm about to hit him.
Okay. So as you move through the crowd and you get up to where you're starting to position yourself, you feel a light tap on the back of your shoulder. And you hear a little small child sort of giggle as you look over your shoulder, and Melody has come up alongside you. She carefully lets go of her bag and it drops at your feet, and then continues walking with the little boy in her arms, kind of making her way toward the platform and where the cart sits.
I quickly scoop up the bag.
What was all in there again? The axe, I think.
I think it's my axe, my flintlock, and then I think 2 extra pistols.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I gave her my pistols too.
Well, one of the extra pistols is missing.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it appears she may have kept at least one.
So I have my axe and then 2 pistols.
2 flintlocks.
Okay.
And then she moves away and is heading, sort of making her way carefully through the crowd. She's got Euronymous kind of turned with his head facing away. And then Dupois, you are moved to the front. You hear this clack, 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 clack. And you see all these ladies sitting in this row, and they all have their knitting. And they're just knitting away, but their eyes are like focused on the guillotine and on you. They walk you forward. They push you down on the planks. Thud! Your feet kind of cave beneath you. The sound resonates from the hollowness of the platform underneath you. Then they push you forward, and you hear a clanking sound as the lunette is closed on your neck, and you are pinched in place. And then, thud! And the blade falls.
As soon as he hears it start to fall, I think he says, sort of under his breath, "I'll see you soon, Sylvie."
Mm-hmm.
And then, for a moment, Dupois, you're standing in a void. Below you swirls the idiot god Azathoth, an infinite swirling vortex. You hear drums, you hear flutes echoing in the distance of the darkness. Just mishappen notes, a cacophony. And then it's instantly silenced. As you hear and you realize where it's coming from. It's coming from your open mouth. The music that was played, the music from beyond, as it echoes outward into space. And it eclipses everything. Even the sky is torn asunder. Those of you watching as the guillotine comes down, Dupois' head separates from his body. It rolls across the platform. It lands, sitting face up, eyes looking toward the crowd. Dupois, for just a moment, your consciousness comes back to yourself. You're staring at the crowd as they stare at your head sitting on this plank. Do you have any last words?
Vive la France.
And you all see this. I need both Babin and Pressi and Beaumains to roll me sanity checks.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Let's see how Beaumains is.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Well, we almost made it, guys. almost made it.
Oh.
Wow.
So we got 2 failures and 1 success. So, all right.
A fumble.
Oh,
Yeah, Pressi fumbled.
Pressi
Yeah.
fumbled. I love it. All right, so
I got close to a fumble.
here's what's gonna happen. Just give good old Jeanette just a second, because this is fantastic.
No. This is how we all die. A sanity check.
I mean, are you surprised? I mean, really?
No.
No. Of
No.
course not. Why would you?
How much do we need to lose? Like 20% of our total sanity? a day?
5% in one day.
5%. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to do math. If I roll my math.
Math is fun. Math is fundamental.
I don't need to do math. Mine's easy.
Is it literally like 1 point?
2.
I mean, that's fair. All right. Well, the one that did succeed, Beaumains, you
Yeah.
only lose a single point of sanity.
Oh, okay.
So in that instant, you are mostly like startled. You probably stumble back against the post of the cart and then right yourself, as you were not expecting the decapitated head of your friend to come to life.
No.
And
I imagine not.
And maybe in that moment you thought that there was a chance that he would survive, and he didn't, so that's also terrifying in its own way. Pressi, we'll get to you in a second. Let me roll for Babin.
Okay. Excuse me a moment.
So. All right, so Babin, you are
All
going
right,
to
I'm
lose
so good.
5 points of sanity.
Okay, I'm so good.
So you also, like, you probably let out an involuntary, like, cry, as this was not what you expected in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of, like, are glad you don't have your hand on the trigger of one of your weapons, because your fingers clench in that second, but you don't, you're one good hand. But you don't shoot it off.
Some fingers clench.
Pressi, just roll me an intelligence roll, please.
Watch me crit this.
Please fail. Yay!
Oh.
Okay.
All right, cool. So you sort of see this. You are shocked in this moment. Was that a fifth of your? 6.
Okay.
It would be 6
So-
points.
Oh, a fifth?
Yeah, it would be 6
For
points.
some reason, I was thinking. For some reason, I was thinking 5%.
Ah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that definitely was it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
Matt.
You lose 6 points of sanity from this.
1/5, you said?
Yeah.
1/5 of my total right now is 3.6.
Oh,
okay.
excellent. So, you
AKA, I have 18 well, I had 18 sanity.
right. So the good news is, because you sort of don't comprehend exactly what just happened, you don't lose your mind on this happening. You do, however, it sort of makes you pause for a second. You kind of freeze up in this second. And as you do, this happens. So Citizen Regault is sitting in his seat. He's watching this. His eyes, the smile from his face is up to his eyes. He's in his element. He's happy. And then the blade cleaves off Dupois' head. And the instant that Dupois speaks his last words and his head slumps and just sort of lolls away, Regault stands up, and his arms go up and his eyes go wide. And he sort of claws at his shirt and at his chest. And you all hear this sort of echoing sound. Sounds like it's coming from underneath your feet. And the ground underneath your feet seems to shake. There's like a tremor.
Oh, it's the catacombs.
And those of you who have heard it before, so Pressi, in your state, you hear the music again. Not loud, not like enough to drive you out into the void, but you hear it, and then it rises into a scream, echoed by Regault screaming, as you see blood just spurt all over his body. And you see where his shirt sort of tears. The little skull tattoos that he had all over his body are bursting like blood vessels. And he even spits up some blood in this instant. And Pressi, in your shock, in your just complete freak out over all that is happening in the moment, you don't even realize when you squeeze a trigger. So roll me an attack with your gun, as you were aiming at Citizen Regault.
I don't want to ruin this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use my nat 20 for it?
Oh, that's perfectly fair.
Yeah, go for
Because
it.
that was the plan. I'll still roll to see how much damage I do.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, so you just have been aiming, you have been following him with the weapon this whole time, and you just involuntarily, without even realizing it, just squeeze on the trigger and shoot at the citizen.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow. So, let's see. All right. So as this happens, you still hear the screaming coming from somewhere underneath. The ground still shakes. And those of you in the courtyard hear the shot from a musket. And you see Regault, who was already like spitting blood, you see him take this shot. And he sort of reels back in pain. And then I need to know, what are your dexterity scores, my friends?
50.
A 50.
Also a 50.
Nice.
I believe yours is currently 0.
Well, Domains is 50.
Yes, everyone. Dylan, why don't you introduce us to who you're going to play for the rest of the session?
Oh. Okay. Well, I'm, I think, 20 years younger than Dupois. Michael Beaumains, who sort of a very thin, tall soldier who looks after his dad, and is kind of the only person to support his dad, the old man. And he's very intelligent compared to Dupois, you know.
That's fair. All right.
And he's missing an eye, actually.
Hey, you know, I mean, one of you's missing a hand, one of you's got to miss an eye. It's all good.
All he needs to do is just sail the 7 seas, and he's set for life.
Exactly.
Oh, no. He needs to also chop off his hand, and then he's set for life.
That's true.
And a leg, yeah.
Combine Babin and Beaumains, and you have the perfect pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, probably, yeah.
All right, so Pressi, you involuntarily fire, and you shoot Citizen Regalt, and as you kind of like do that, it shakes you out of your stupor, and you realize, you remember the catacombs, and you remember when you all tried to fight him before, and nothing hurt him. You see, even at this distance, the blood from the bullet wound itself. Like you hit him right near the upper left shoulder, and you realize that he is able to be injured in this instance. So after Pressi fires, Hugel looks around in surprise at the back of the cart, and she...
Oh.
Yes?
You asked for a dex?
Yeah, I know yours, Pressi. Yours is pretty high. It's
Okay.
a 70. So Hugel, in the chaos that starts to ensue, she grabs the side of the cart and she leaps over the side of the cart into the crowd. And she comes up startled as Melody appears out of the crowd and shoves something into her hand. And then, clutching Hieronymus, she says, "Bon chance!" and darts back into the crowd away from the cart. And you can see that she holds up a set of keys for the manacles as she quickly starts to undo the manacles for those. So she like turns to Beaumains and she says, "Your hands!" And she sticks the key in and she undoes your hands while the guards are still trying to recover from this shock that's happening around them. After she does that, Babin, you are in the crowd, and all of this has just, everything is erupted in terror. Like, people are screaming, some people are starting to run, the guards are like looking around, and Regalt is sort of staggering back. He looks like he's trying to recover from this sudden shock of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do?
I take a quick moment to shove the two, if they're still in front of me, the two people who are in front of me, just kind of push them out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I pull out one of the flintlocks that Melody handed to me. I aim, and I'm going to use my second nat 20 on this one.
No.
I ain't playing.
All right, so you aim your flintlock at Regalt. His eyes turn, and he meets your gaze as you fire. Roll me some damage.
Not bad.
Oh, nice. So you hit him. Boom. And he's...
And then I just kind of like toss his spent flintlock into the crowd, like I'm not messing around.
He screams in pain, and you see him stagger backward, like throwing the chairs aside behind him. Beaumains, your hands come free from being held. There are 6 guards sort of around the cart. You see Babin shoot Regalt. What are you doing?
Well, so you said I had like manacles with like chains on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as soon as they come off, I'm going to grab those. I'm going to jump out of the cart, and I'm going to go at one of the guards with like swinging from one side of the chain with like the manacle at the end, and just like
Like a foil?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you're gonna
almost.
flail him.
Yeah.
All right.
A mantle foil?
You charge in at this guard. Go ahead. He sees you coming, and he's going to try to fight back as you charge at him. So roll me your attack, and I will...
Okay, would it be just like fighting brawl?
Yes.
Okay.
So he is going to attempt to
Whoa.
Ooh.
fight back. So you get in between as he swings to sort of stop you and kind of punch you in the face as you're coming at him. You are able to hit him with the metal clang. So I'll say it's a d6 plus your damage bonus dice.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right. I believe that's 2d6 then.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. All right.
All right. So you crack him across the face with these, and his head kind of lolls back and blood spews out of his mouth. But he does not go down. He's still up.
Ow. Dang it.
So.
All right.
The sergeant jumps down and he helps Hugel get her hands out of the cuffs, and then he starts working on his own. Regalt, he backpedals and looks around, and he yells, "Assassins! Assassins! They're trying to kill me! Stop them! Stop them!"
I mean, that's true.
It is, yeah.
As he sort of looks for a way to exit and kind of make a run for it. So he sort of starts backing away, and then he reaches inside his shirt and he pulls out one of his flintlocks. And he looks around, and his eyes meet yours, Babin. And he levels the flintlock at you. Now, you can attempt to dodge his shot. However, if you dodge, you get no action on your turn, because that is your action to get out of the way. Or you can let him just attempt to shoot you.
Would that be my next turn, or am I like...
The turn coming up.
Okay. I'm not going to try and get out of the way.
All right, he will fire. Oh, he fires! And someone in the crowd sort of jostles into him, and his shot goes wide, and he curses angrily, throwing the spent flintlock into the crowd and trying to kind of mingle amongst them to make his escape. And then, Pressi, you are up on your vantage point on the roof. What do you do?
It takes me a long time to reload, doesn't it?
Well, how many guns did you take up on the roof with you, mister?
I have one flintlock left.
Oh, just
I
one
think
flintlock? So your flintlock, I believe, has, is it a 60-yard range with the flintlock?
A flintlock musket is 60 yards.
Oh, what's the pistol?
The pistol is not listed on my character sheet, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so the pistol...
10 yards.
10 yards. So 30 feet. So you're up on top of the building. You would have a penalty dice on the shot, but you could still take a shot with the flintlock.
Nah, he's gonna make it matter. Would he be able to move and reload?
No, you're a trained soldier. I would say that it's going to take 4 rounds to load it, so this would be 1. But you could move and be working on it as you're going, like running, kind of putting in the powder, getting in the shot, stamping it in.
Okay, he's heading back into the attic, I guess, of this place and going down the building. He's trying to get back down below while reloading.
Okay.
So that's probably what he's going to be doing for the next 4 rounds, if you guys don't kill him by then.
All right, so Hugel will run up, and she is going to also try to help Beaumains with this guard. So she charges forward, and as she comes up to him, she swings with the...
Oh.
Oof.
But the guard sticks out a foot and sends her tumbling to the pavement, and she kind of goes tumbling underneath the cart as this happens, and you lose sight of her, Beaumains. Babin, what do you do?
Can I still see where Regalt is? Like, I'm assuming he didn't get too far yet.
Oh no, yeah, you can still see him. He's going around the perimeter, and he's trying to put people between him. You also notice it looks like there are some people in the crowd starting to turn, and they look like they're kind of moving in your direction. One of them in particular looks like he's like charging forward to try to help protect this citizen from the assassins. What do you want to do?
I'm going to pull out my axe and run up to Regault and try and hack at him.
Ooh, I like it. All right, so you run up to Regault and you swing at your axe. He, as you get in close, he is going to try to retaliate and try to stop you and sort of turn your attack on you. So you can
Bring
roll,
it.
and I will roll.
Oh,
All right.
Oh, boy.
So you come in, and he sort of dodges sideways, and then he swings a fist at you, and he punches you as you come at him, and you take 5 points of damage as he hits you.
so that brings me to 0.
That brings you to 0?
I have
Nice.
5.
Oh, hell. All right. So let's see.
World.
So, your hit points fall to 0. You have a major wound. So you tick off the major wound box.
Okay.
Roll me a constitution roll. Okay, so you fall unconscious, but you are not dead, you're dying.
Okay.
All right.
So, if someone can get to you, they may be able to help you.
Hmm.
All right. So, you go. So, Beaumains, you see, Hugel get tripped, and she goes flying beneath the cart. You see, Babon rush Regault, and he just takes a punch full to the face, and the big man goes down in a heap. And then, let's see, what do you want to do?
Boy. Well, I heard that what Dupois said about Regault being their target. So I think I'll probably run after him with these like manacle chain thing I got going on, and like I'm gonna try and like hold him, you know?
Okay, so you want to run up and try to get a grab on him
Yeah.
and like pin him. All right, so that you can roll me a brawl. As you do that, he spins around and he will try to stop you. As you do
All
this,
right.
he's trying to halt this action.
Oh.
You're gonna Princess Leia this?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, just like choke him out.
So you
Why won't you die?
You grab for him, and he is going to attempt to turn your grab on you, but you manage to grab a hold of him, and he spits blood, and he says, "You don't want to do this, boy."
Well, I think I do.
All right. So you have hold of Regault. The sergeant rushes forward to where Babon has landed on the ground. And he's like, "Etienne!" He slides in next to you, and he is looking down at you like, "Oh no, he's... Etienne!" And he is going to attempt to see if he can help you. So he is going to try to give you first aid. So, here we go. First aid. Oh no. So he,
So close.
He will spend, because he has luck.
Bye.
He will spend some of his luck to make that a success. So, let's see. He spends it. So you are stabilized, and you have 1 hit point.
Boy.
So you're
Do I still have major wound, or is that...
Yeah, no, you still have the major wound.
Okay.
So your eyes, like, flutter open as you gasp for air. And you're looking up into the sergeant's face, and you see just past him, Beaumains is sort of wrestling with Regault and holding on to him. And then... Oh, Regault's turn.
Great.
Where's that other paper? So, you have hold of him, my friend.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. He will... Alright, so, you have like a physical grasp to him, and as you do, he grabs tight to like your hands, and you hear him mutter something in an unintelligible language.
God damn it.
So he is going to spend 5 of his magic points on this. So you need to roll me a power roll, please.
Okay.
Oh,
That's real good. And now I need to roll one.
Oh, whoa, whoa, it's magic.
Whoa.
All right, so I will roll.
Oh my
no!
God.
Can I spend the luck to make mine an extreme as well, if that will make any difference?
Oh my god.
Oh, so it'd be like a. Let's see here.
It'd be 7 points.
I mean, I can do it. I got 25 luck as Beaumain's.
This could be like Dragon Ball Z, where you just punches collide and just a crater happens.
yeah.
So I will let you spend. Let me double check. Hang on. Let's see. Can you spend?
All right.
Regalt, you son of a bitch.
Ooh,
So yeah,
next time on Reign of Terror.
I will let Beaumain spend it. So yeah, so he and you feel this energy, and there's sort of this cracking of the upper level of your flesh, but you sort of will it away as this happens, and he looks at you sort of surprised in this moment. And then, Pressi, you're running downstairs loading your weapon. Running. And let's see here. Meanwhile,
The Hall of Justice.
yes.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Seems that one, yeah.
Yeah. So this one man sort of runs up to where Beaumain's you're holding Regalt, and he says, "Assassin, release him!" And he is going to try to pull you off of him. So this man grabs a hold of you, and he is going to try to yank you away from Citizen Regalt. So I need you to roll me an opposed fight brawl to try and
Oh. Okay.
Go ahead. Let's see. All right.
Yeah.
So he's pulling at you, but he can't seem to pull you off. Meanwhile, you start to notice these secret police are starting to swarm towards you. Oh man. So one of them is drawing his weapon and running in this direction. And then, Babin, you're awake, you're alive, you feel terrible, and you hear from somewhere in the crowd, "Papa!"
No. I know it's hard to see this, but I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna try and axe Regalt again.
All right, he is going to attempt to respond to that.
Do I get anything since Beaumain is kind of holding him?
You can.
Well, that's a good
You
question.
can have an advantage dice because he is restrained by your friend.
All right.
Oh,
Oh.
what the hell?
God damn
Oh
it.
man.
What the hell?
Come on.
Come on!
Yeah. So he responds.
How is that possible?
Fuck, man.
And
Damn
Beaumain's, he takes you down.
Oh.
And I'm down again.
Yep. And this time, you are below 0 hit points.
Yes.
So,
Christ.
let's see. You have a major wound,
Mm-hmm.
and you drop below. Let's see. So, you are dying again.
I figured that part
Actually,
out.
it's more than... It's actually... What's your maximum hit points?
13.
Alright, so...
So he's -4, right?
I'm at -4.
Yeah.
So you are more than maximum... It's not more than your maximum hit points. So
Correct.
you are dying.
Again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you're back on the ground and dying. Which, roll a Constitution roll. You may die.
I may die anyway.
Oh nope. So you are barely alive, dying on the ground.
God.
And
I know you didn't get to see it, Jeanette, but you'll have to clip it later with all of us saluting.
oh, I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I saluted them.
All right. So, Beaumains, you're holding Regalt, and even as you're holding him, he manages to, just as Babon comes in, he gets his fist up and he hits him in the throat, and you hear something. You hear something crunch, and Babon goes down in a heap on the ground. What do you do?
Okay.
Help does this fucker have?
Okay. Well, can I just like tighten the chain like around his neck? I really am gonna Princess Leia this.
Okay.
I just want to like try and fucking choke him.
I will let you make a brawl, and he's going to try to like do the whole like hand between to see if he can stop you. That's
okay.
Leia this shit.
You know what? I have another nat 20. Can I use it?
Oh shoot, yeah.
Okay.
Can he even? Let's see if he can even get his hand. So that's an extreme success. I don't think he can stop you. Oops, that's the wrong character.
He gets a critical up in his scream.
Oh my god.
Nope.
Oh.
All right. So use your nat 20. So you get what, 2d6 for that, right?
All right.
Kill him.
Oh, holy shit.
All right. So you tighten your grip and you pull it tight, and he tries to throw his hand up like he punches
Leia him.
Babon, and as the chain tightens, he tries to recover and get his hand up between the chain, but you manage to pull it tight, and he claws at it, and he's pulling at it, but you pull even tighter, and you kind of lean back, and you hear like something cracking, and he's like, oop, and you hold on, and he goes limp in your arms.
Oh.
And someone yells, "They've killed him! They've killed Citizen Regalt!"
Oh god, we did plan an exit strategy.
The crowd
There's no
is,
point.
No.
is screaming. The crowd is running. The secret police. There are two of them bolting towards you. In this instant, Pressi, you come out on the ground floor in time to see Babon drop and Beaumains just break the neck of Regalt as he chokes him out. You just hear a snapping sound, and Regalt goes limp and slumps in Beaumains' arms. What are you guys gonna do? You have police running at you. There's a couple of citizens screaming and kind of. One is still clawing at Beaumains' back.
Although they haven't seen Pressi.
No, and
Wow.
Pressi, you see this, and you also see a familiar blonde with a small child exiting the courtyard and heading into the main road.
Question, Jeanette.
Hi.
Where is Bonaparte? Is he with them, or is he
went to
elsewhere?
Dupois' body.
I didn't want to
he's-
say it, but
he
yeah.
he is sitting up on
Oh.
by the guillotine.
Bonaparte.
Made me cry on stream, and that's awful.
You had to break the dog.
So, Pressi, so you come out into the courtyard and you see this chaos that's happening. You're about a few seconds from finishing loading your gun, but you see your target has slumped and is apparently dead in the arms of Beaumains, but it looks like the police are moving in to try to rearrest the criminals. What are you doing, Pressi?
How many of them are there?
Currently, there are 2 secret police heading toward them, and there's 1 citizen pulling at and punching at the back of Beaumains, who doesn't seem to notice at the moment.
Time slows down as Pressi has a tall tale game moment where you get like the 2 different paths you have to take. And one's like, go have a life with Melody. The other one is fight with your allies till the death. This is in his head, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He just closes his eyes and sighs. And he heads over to Melody.
All right, so you move into the crowd and quickly find Melody, who is startled and then throws her hand into your hand and says, Pressi, what do we do?
We go.
All right. And you and Melody and Euronymous disappear into the crowd.
I whistle for Bonaparte.
All right, you whistle as you disappear into the crowd. Up in front, Beaumains, you see Bonaparte look up, and then he gives one last nuzzle to Dupois, and then he bolts from the platform and runs into the crowd, disappearing amongst the feet of the screaming, running crowd. Meanwhile, in the square, you also see the young bearded figure of Cesar charging forward, and he grabs hold of Babin. Babin, roll me another Constitution roll.
God.
Oh no! Don't make me die in my son's arms, Jeanette.
Oh no!
Oh, he grabs hold of you. He turns you over in his arms, and he just puts his head down in your chest, and he starts crying as he's holding you there. As Babin takes his last breath and fades away.
Man.
Oh,
It's been over a week. He can use first aid on me.
You see his first aid on a dead body.
I did time yet.
Damn you!
Live.
I was about to say, he's just Larry Lobster.
Yeah.
Breathe, damn you! Gah, gah, gah. Punching you.
oh
Oh, man.
The sergeant looks at Beaumains and says, "He's dead! Release him! We have to run for it!"
Well, I definitely release him. I think Beaumains is kind of like stunned that, like, he was able to actually do that.
You see the sergeant pick up a flintlock that has fallen from Regault's other pocket, and he looks at you and he says, "Split up, every man for himself. Run, fools!" As you see Hugh Gallo sort of crawling out from under the cart on the other side, and she looks back at you, and she's like, sort of giving you a look like, "What do we do?"
Well, hold on, I need to check something real quick.
No, you do the Doctor Who thing. You're like, this is where we run. And then you just run.
You take a 40, you smash it on the ground, and yell, "Scatter!"
Okay, so what exactly does the our situation look like? I know there are the 2 secret police coming this way. There's the dude on my back, basically. But how easy would it be to get out of this plaza if we were to do that?
It's currently emptying, but you think if you hesitate much longer, the chances of blending in with the crowd will fade away quickly. And you can hear yelling from outside that's not the crowd. You think that there are guards trying to force their way in, but they're having a hard time getting in because of the heavy crowd running and fleeing from the scene.
So I think Beaumains is going to run over to where Hugel is, help her up, and then just run with her towards the crowd to try and get out.
Okay, so when you do, I want you, are you trying to blend in as you go and sort of look like you're part of this group?
Yes, I think, I figure everyone's kind of panicking. So like it wouldn't be weird for us to be running through here, you know?
Okay.
So yeah.
With the cover of the crowd, I'm gonna have you and Hugel both roll like a stealth, but you get 2 advantage dice because there is such a heavy presence of people, and it's hard for them to separate who is and is not.
All right.
So you both duck together. You hunch your shoulders and sort of get real low because you are quite the presence if you stand to your full height. And you and Hugel sort of like holding onto one another like a couple sort of make your way out with the rest of this crowd that's sort of running for it. And as you sort of get into the crowd proper in the street, you are swept up with a group, and you find your father.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. I'd probably look for my dad.
And Hugel manages to catch sight of her husband Joseph, and she kind of signals him, you know, like to keep moving, that you're going to catch up with them. And the sergeant, who has pulled a flintlock, so as you disappear, you actually see him climb up onto the center near the guillotine, and he fires the flintlock into the air, and he yells, "Long live the king!" as he then runs into the crowd, but does not try to hide himself. He seems like he is trying to draw the attention of the police and the guards, and to get them away from the rest of you as you make your escape. So,
wow,
you all have run for it. You take off into the city streets.
Well, not all of us.
Well, yes,
wow.
left after the crowd sort of separates and is gone. Cesar is left behind, and he is sort of cradling Babin. He has taken like his cloak off, his hood off, and he doesn't argue with them, but he says, you know, it's my papa. He has paid his price. You can leave him be. I am a soldier in the French army. And they kind of give him a wide berth. He watches as they go and check Rigault's body. And Rigault is dead. He lies dead. All of the skeletal tattoos that were on his body are gone. You can Cesar can see where it looks like, you know, there's all these like burst blood vessels on his skin beneath his clothes, but he's no longer moving. And they collect his body and move it away. And after a time, they'll collect Babin, but they'll let Cesar take him to make arrangements. So, the rest of you, they also take Dupois, and they will take him and they'll bury him in one of the city cemeteries, or perhaps in the catacombs beneath the city, depending on space. So, Pressi, you and Melody vanish into the crowd with this small boy, and Bonaparte catches up to you after a short while. What happens? What do you do?
Is this like epilogue?
This is like just afterward. Like, what, you know that you were not seen. Perhaps you may feel safe to stay, but what would Pressi do after this?
He's gonna flee the country.
Okay.
His plan from now on, it's gonna be they're gonna try to take a boat to the new lands where there's apparently gold on the roads, to America, and study up on his English.
Okay. So Pressi and Melody, taking what funds they have left, they flee Paris in the chaos and head cross country to make plans to sail to the new land and start a new life. Beaumains. You and Hugel escape with your families, though both of you know that you were arrested. They know who you are. They'll be looking for you. What is your plan? What do you do?
Well, I probably do my best to stay with Hugel. And I suppose we probably try to hide. Really, Beaumains is just trying to spend as much time as he can with his dad, you know? Because, like, Beaumains, I don't think really minds dying at the end of the day. Like, you know, oh, you go out as a martyr. But, like, his dad needs him. So it's also kind of like, I can't die until, you know, that's taken care of.
So you go into hiding to kind of keep safe?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next day, the city of Paris has the festival of the Supreme Being. And they celebrate the new religion of France. Robespierre is out trying to drum up celebration after yesterday's debacle and the murder of such a high-ranking member of the committee. But as the days after that go by, those of you that have stayed in Paris, Babin is buried in the cemetery, and Dupois as well. César actually pays for both of their services, and he makes sure to look after all the final arrangements. He sends word through mutual friends of Babin, and it reaches Beaumains and Hugel that he hopes they're safe to stay, you know, that way. Perhaps someday you'll meet again, but until then he'll be leaving to go to Belgium to continue his service. He says that it's okay. His father did his part to save everyone, and that he did get his goodbye, though he doesn't explain. And then as days pass and Pressi and Melody make their arrangements for travel, they head by way of England and take a boat across to the Americas. Those of you that stay in Paris in hiding start to hear rumblings that the rest of the National Convention, they don't trust Robespierre's beheadings anymore, and they're afraid that he may run out of other victims and start looking amongst their number in order to stop any sort of people from rising up against him. The guillotine continues to fall for the next couple of days. They move it from the palace to the place de la Bastille because the neighbors start to complain about how bad it smells. But it's only there for 2 days when they move it again. And about a month and a half goes by, and those of you in hiding hear rumors that Robespierre himself was put to the guillotine yesterday and is no more. And France is restructuring once again. So for those of you who survived, you can roll 2d10 and regain sanity for having survived this horrible, horrible excursion. Those of you in hiding in Paris, you, after about 2 months, you feel it's safe to start going back about a normal life, though you don't immediately go back to your own lives. But Beaumains and Hugel, you and your family, seem to have come through this safely. Pressi and Melody safely arrive in a new world with their young charge and their puppy.
Opal part.
And start their new life.
Probably a dairy farm. Being French. And probably going to New York. It makes sense.
They're really good with cheeses. Citizen Regault is buried in the Picpus Cemetery. One dark night, the ghoul that was Guillaume goes to his grave and digs it up. He climbs down into the grave and opens the box and looks down on the desiccated figure inside. And in the moonlight, he gives this wide, toothy grin and says, "Je suis Paris, you supreme bastard." And then he begins to devour him. And that is where our adventure ends.
Turns into an uber ghoul and consumes the world. No, I'm joking.
You have
Goodness
saved
gracious.
the world. And
Dude,
Scott
bravo.
ended the game with a natural 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we do the impossible in the impossible game where we beat Call of Cthulhu?
Well, some of
I mean,
you
it
lived.
depends.
I mean, people died, but the world didn't.
Well, I
end.
mean,
We did save the world, yeah.
Cesar said he got to say his goodbye, but didn't explain any further.
Oh, Pressi didn't Babin die. So he actually probably does when he gets to America eventually. Maybe this is like way down the road, like a few years later or something. He does send mail, and it'll probably go to his son. And it's just him updating where he's at and where they're at and stuff.
And who knows, maybe someone who has some medical training may look into some other methods to bring back the people he lost. Or not.
Oh.
You don't know.
Good Lord.
You never know.
He's going to move to the Eastern
Madagascar.
Europe and change his name to Victor Frankenstein.
Frank-
And he hobbles
Frankenstein.
Babin and Dupois together.
Oh, goodness.
It's the ultimate undead pirate.
Oh my God. I'm a true visionary.
Except this time he takes Dupois' hand and puts it on Babin's body, so he has both hands again.
Well,
Yar, I am Captain
now we
Steve
know
Hatch.
the monster for our next Cthulhu adventure.
Cesar.
So I guess we go around. What do you think? Like, so Pressi is in the Americas when the dairy farm settles down, and starts a new life. How do you guys feel? Jamey. How are you feeling? I'm sorry.
Sad.
Me too.
I got so
Bad
the last
too.
like half hour is where I die.
I know.
And I'm like, I was so close.
I feel like an idiot for not getting another rifle. I was going to use both my nat 20s on that effort, but I never got a chance to do the second one.
Yeah, you know.
It happens.
We'll save your nat 20 for another game. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, really. I feel really good about Dupois. I was worried about playing him when we first started because he's like very different from me in real life. I've never been a 49-year-old drunk or any of that. And I'm clearly not a fan of actual monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was really fun playing that. And I really liked how the story played out.
Yep.
It was nice. I think he had some growth as an individual in that last couple of years he had.
Who knew Dupois, who never rose above the lowest rank in his unit, would
Yeah,
become
right.
the hero that saved France and the world?
I think it really calls to mind Hugel's words to him when they fought Fenelek and beat him, that Sylvie would have been proud of him. So,
Yay.
We did a lot of things I didn't think we were going to actually possibly be able to do.
Oh, we didn't.
Because I know how easy it is to die in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised we haven't died yet. Like, this is the first time we actually had death.
yeah. But I thought I was going to die against Fenelek, so...
I thought we were all going to die when we went with my dumb plane to hijack the cart.
That's a
That
good
was
point, too.
Beautiful plan, and it worked.
That was the most
magnificently.
Hollywood spy plan ever, and somehow it worked.
Yes.
I think the cart hijacking and Pressi's amazing escape from the police
Yeah.
were two
That's
of
what
my
I do.
favorite moments in game, because it was like, oh hell.
Those two and Dupois running away from Rigault in the catacombs.
Mhm.
Because I I wasn't expecting him to pull out a gun.
I know. I went back and watched that
I really
moment,
wasn't.
and your reaction was absolute, like, what? Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just figured, this creepy guy's gonna follow me and probably cast a spell or something. No, he's gonna pull out a gun and fucking shoot me.
It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
why waste magic when you can just use the tools at hand?
Yeah.
That is fair.
I think I need to draw Pressi with a crazed face, like jumping into an alleyway saying, "Can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." Ah! Because that was probably the most insane moment he had, besides the fiddle, of course.
I did like the joint. Yeah, I was gonna say the joint scene of like all the chaos of the violin, smash cutting to Babel, just hacking people to pieces in the street.
Mm-hmm. Also, I will say, Babon, the use of the nat 20 for convincing the court was a good move because used nat 20. So I mean, they took it because otherwise, Fenelek Regault was gonna denounce you.
Yeah.
And have you in chains, imprisoned as well.
But so I anticipate that happening. So I have a question about that. If they manacle me and I screw off my wooden hand, would I just be able to slide the manacle off and then put it back on and just be good?
I mean, I don't know. We'd have to see how you did.
That's true.
I mean, it was
Then I
an
just have like
option.
then it's still attached on one hand, so I'm just swinging it like Boatman was doing.
You have even more effective magical flail.
Yeah.
You have a wooden hand on one side.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh my
Jamie,
God.
because I think Katie went off to play her game. You have to let her know that. It's
Oh, I already
okay.
did.
Hugel's okay.
Oh, yeah, I told her that Dupois and Babylon were the only two who died.
Yeah, Huguel and her husband are okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she's like, oh man, you both died. I'm like, well, we knew Dupois was going to die. That was a given.
it's true.
I will say that as an epilogue, they did capture the sergeant as he gave you cover to go, and he was eventually put to the guillotine himself. But
I assumed that was probably going to happen.
But he made sure that his soldiers were able to, for the most part, he gave his life for his soldiers because that's what a good sergeant does.
I don't know what time your cowboy one is set to. Maybe
1870s, I believe.
What year is it here?
1794 is the current year.
Yeah.
In France.
So this takes place later.
No, 18. I might be mistaken. I think it's 1870 is the year it's going to be set in. My bad.
And this is 1894?
This is 1794. So this is about 100,
Oh.
just about 90 years before.
Damn, never mind.
The French Revolution happened right after the American one, so.
Maybe there'll be a descendant of Pressi and Melody
Maybe.
in the Old West.
But actually, it'll just be Pressi. He's like that really old grizzled prospector with his little pan. There's gold in the hills.
There's gold in these damn hills. So.
She's just like, let's see, the villain of this one, erase his name, Pressi. There we go. Perfect.
Maybe.
Cesar.
Maybe I need to change. I need to change the name of the town now.
Pressyville.
Pressyville.
All right. So, does anyone have anything else they want to discuss about it, or do we want to do some plugs and pull the curtains closed on this adventure?
I got one more. So I'm not going to be in the next one, not because I don't want to, but because I'm trying to cut down the amount of games I'm in. Because there's only so many character sheets you can keep track of.
That's true.
I disagree with that, but that's okay.
I know a lot of people disagree with that. Thank you, Katie. But
we love you,
She's
Katie.
not watching anymore. You can't call her out.
But we still love her.
We'll still call her out.
She might see you later. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the Call of Cthulhu video game was really great, and I have to say we ended a lot better than I did in that one.
I saw that, yeah.
No,
But I purposely went the insane route because I'm like, I wonder how crazy my character can get.
it's fair. Very fair. All right. So on that note, as we pull this to a close, why don't we do some plugs, guys? So hey there, Dylan, what do you got going on outside of this crazy world we live in?
Well, first off, thank you, Jeanette, for my first Call of Cthulhu experience. It was really fun.
Thanks for joining me. I don't
Yeah.
entirely know how to do this, but we had fun, so yay, good job.
I mean, that's what matters. And it was very different from what I usually do, which is D&D.
Very different.
Yeah, really. High flying adventure in D&D versus this.
Oh no, a single shot's gonna hit me. I'm almost dead. Shit.
Yeah. He punched me in the face and I died.
I mean, he did take you out at the throat.
That's true.
That was an actual kill shot.
What do you mean there aren't levels? What do you mean I can't only heal once a week?
That's the part that like
I
really
cast Cure Wounds. Wait, what?
So yeah, usually I do D&D. This week, since it's Thanksgiving, we're off on Thursday. But usually at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Greyhawk channel, I do Secrets Castle Greyhawk, where we explore D&D's original mega dungeon. And 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Power Score RPG and the official D&D channel, we do Waffle Talk, where we talk about dice camera action. I can't talk. Holy crap! Which is a D&D show on the D&D channel, DM'd by Chris Perkins. And then Saturday on Power Score RPG at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with Jeanette and Scott and, all the fun people. We do Waterdeep Dragon Heist, where we're not in a good spot right now.
Jeanette almost bawled on stream.
I might next session.
I feel like it might be a little bit of karma for what she did to you in the other campaign.
Yeah, But yeah, my character in that has about the same amount of hit points as Dupois did for most of this campaign, and is standing in front of a half-orc who thinks that she's an assassin. So we'll see how that goes.
God. All right, on that note, Dylan, let's see. So Jamey, what you got going on?
This Saturday on this channel at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. We're doing a one-shot where we're all playing gnomes and halflings.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be playing a deep gnome storm sorcerer.
Oh.
Named Tiff Meadowdark. Come see what Tiff gets into.
Very nice.
And then in 2 weeks from yesterday, which I don't know the specific date of that, is again on this channel, 4:30 on Saturday at Eastern Standard Time, we are continuing the Forges of Fury dungeon, where I think we're just about done. I think
you're pretty close to the bottom of the dungeon. So
we have
see.
like 2 rooms that we want. Well, everybody else wants to check out. I don't want to look at the rooms, but they all keep doing it. And then we have to go fight a dragon and see how it goes from there.
December 1st.
December 1st.
December 1st. And then anything else going on, Jamey, or is that?
No, that's it.
Okay, Scott.
Hey, I normally have Retroverse every Friday, but Thanksgiving stuff, so for the first time ever, no Retroverse. I think since we started the campaign earlier this year, I think it's the first time we've actually not had a session on a Friday, which is weird.
Wow.
That's
pretty good.
We would still be having our Saturday Steampunk Dieselpunk campaign at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard, and of course Power Score at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if Slim pulls what Pressi did, but a little more on the evil side, where it's just like, no, screw you, I want to live.
I want to live.
I mean, you and Jeanette are in a more better place, I would say.
Both of us might just scatter. I don't know. She seems nicer than me, though.
Yeah, my character is like, where the heck's our friends? So I don't think I'm scattering anywhere.
Slim's probably going to be like, probably over there, as I point you towards danger, and then run the opposite direction.
I'm okay with danger, so. Yeah, so if you want to see some craziness, Dragon Heist on Power Score RPG on Saturdays is a good place to go. And if Entropy shows up and wants to save our butts, I mean, Katie, if you watch this,
please.
we are totally
Katie,
cool with that. Or the bakers, like if the bakers want to pop in and like save our butt, we hope you followed us because we're stupid and we could use some help. So if any of them followed us, that'd be great.
Where are you guys in this?
Oh, we're in some mansion getting killed by assassins. It's cool.
Oh.
He said we just started into the real part of the
chapter 3 of Dragon Heist.
Maybe the Rat King Sunspot will pop out from the sewers with his little rat army.
Hey,
where we're at in Waterdeep. I don't think we're there.
Well,
Well, I'm in the sewers.
he's in sewers, so
I
maybe
could get anywhere.
We should
that would
suggest
actually be really cool.
we should
My little
suggest
rat
a
friend.
guest star for Sean to bring the Rat King back
Oh
in.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
The new rat.
If we ever
king.
go into the sewers, yeah.
Mhm.
That would-
There is a Unearthed Arcana Urban Druid or something, right?
Yeah. There's actually a Drew.
Yeah, there's a ranger archetype, which is Rat King.
Yes.
Oh.
So.
There you
Like
go.
it came with the whole Rats Are Water Deep
Mhm.
package because I ended up buying that after we played it because I want to run it one day.
Yep.
It's a very fun adventure.
So Scott, do you have any other? Are you doing the Slayers or any Trackless Sea stuff over the
Yeah,
weekend?
the Slayers is Saturday. That's the Dieselpunk Steampunk
Okay,
game.
cool. Yep.
I'll be playing as a gnome named Kobe Spark,
Nice.
owner of
Nice.
Spark Industries. Totally doesn't have a project named Iron Man.
Not at all. And
Why would
then,
he?
are you doing Reign of Misrule on Sunday morning this week?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
the fireball just blew up on us.
Yes.
Well, not on us,
Oh.
but we went over to see.
Yeah, it was too soon.
Excellent.
So yeah, Reign of Misrule, Scott also plays in on his channel, Scotty Hood. And I watch it as much as I can because they're a great group, and he plays a character that played in Rats of Waterdeep
Yeah.
and is completely just my favorite character.
I'm the chaos of the group.
It's amazing.
I think you were last time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
And then as far as myself, yep. So we have the Forge of Fury game that, it's ticking down toward the final maybe, but we'll see how many more sessions they manage to get out of that one. So that's every other Sunday here. And then as far as other games go, we've got the 10 a.m. game Eastern time next week for that one shot. That should be fun. Fun
Who
times.
else going to be in that?
So right now, I'll put it out on Twitter because it's a few people from Scott's channel. I've pilfered a few players, so we're getting that organized.
It's good to spice things up a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
people.
I mean, I might even see if Scott's free that morning. You never know. And what else was I going to tell you about? So, so we'll be back with a new Cthulhu game on January 7th, 2019 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be venturing into the Old West for some Cthulhu fun this time. Because I've enjoyed being in a different time period and it's been fun, so why not? So there'll be some familiar faces, and then there may be a couple of new faces amongst the crowd. And there'll be more of that on my Twitter, so make sure you follow me at JEBriggs79 if you want to keep up to date with that. And a big thank you goes out to Mark Morrison and everybody who was involved in writing The Reign of Terror and providing it. Look, remember that guy? Count Fenelick. Woo.
Unfortunately.
Remember when we thought he was an issue?
Right?
And now he sits in a sanitarium in a completely crazed state because he lost his mind. But, we thank you very much, Chaosium, and everyone involved in writing Reign of Terror, because we had a good time playing this. This is a really fun adventure. And also, I threw in some Sirenscape background noise tonight. I don't know how well it did or didn't go, but so you might want to watch that on the playback. And also, the artwork that was featured in this stream, it was created, the character art was created by a very good artist on Twitter, who also did a character sketch for myself of my tiefling. And if you want to find their work, you only have to look for @Nuska Draws, and I'm going to put it in chat, and it's posted with all the YouTube videos so you can find them. But they're amazing artists, and I love their style, and so yeah, you should totally look them up if you're looking for art, and they're available because they're amazing. And I think that may be everything that I have. So until then, I guess we're gonna say goodnight for now on Cthulhu. We may run a one-shot for, the holidays of it. I don't know if I can get some of these guys to come back and play because, well, it's Cthulhu. And they may need a break. I have tormented them for the last, 3, 4, 5 months. So
Yeah.
But other than that, we're gonna say goodnight. Thank you to everybody who watched in live, and thank you to everybody who watches in the future. So as one of my podcasts says, future people, thank you very much. And thank you guys for playing and putting up with me, because I've been a terrified DM and you guys have made it so much nicer for me. And Katie, we miss you. And I didn't kill your character, so you can still love me. It's fine.
Yeah.
Thank
All right,
you. That will
guys.
be on our bullshit for the next Call of Cthulhu game.
Yeah, I'm expecting so much payback. Thanks, guys. I love it. All right. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Have a great week. To everybody who doesn't celebrate it, just have a good week and enjoy yourselves. Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Bon
Bye.
voyage.
Bye.
Au revoir.